Hi, everybody. This is Steve Wright, former NFL player and author of Aggressively Human. And it's a pleasure to be on this podcast with Jim on Base.
Hey, it's Ryan from the Jim on Base Show, the podcast that brings you closer to your favorite athletes and entertainers. And I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at Claim to Fame. They have some of the best jackets out there that I love to wear. You can rock them for date night, a casual outing with friends, or even while doing a podcast. They're lightweight, they're durable, and perfect for any setting. My favorites are the dark blue, the olive shade, and if you want to switch things up and go for a lighter color, one of my favorite go-tos is the Pacific blue. So check them out at claimtofame.com for all their different styles. So make sure you click the link so the next time you step out, you'll be feeling good with Claim to Fame. Welcome back to another episode of the Jim on Base Show. For today's very special guest, we have on someone that played 11 seasons in the NFL. He also appeared on Survivor at Redemption Island and has a memoir out entitled Aggressively Human. Please welcome the great Steve Wright.
Hey, Ryan. Thanks a lot for having me. It's an honor to be here. I watched quite a few of yours and listened to them, and you just do an outstanding job. So it's a real pleasure and easy to do.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the kind words. And I am curious, I think you mentioned when you get up in the morning, you get up pretty early, and that's kind of like your me time, right? So what does
Yes.
that all entail?
Well, we go to bed about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm up at 4:30 and coffee and do my kind of morning things. And then I sit and meditate for roughly 20, 30 minutes. And then out the door to go do some kind of activity, go to the gym. I just got back from the beach. I was running on the beach for half
Mhm.
hour or something like that, just to get out and get the blood started. And I meet up with about half a dozen guys 3 days a week over in their garage, and then also go up to another big time gym. So
Mm.
it's just been really activity has just been a big part of my life, and so I really try to hold on to that time for me. That's my me time from the time I wake up to probably 10, 11 o'clock.
Nice. And it sounds like you're in the Malibu area, right?
Yes, sir.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite places to visit. I love hitting the beach, go to El Matador, go through some caves, and
Oh, right on, man. You know
yeah.
your area. Yeah, we live on Latigo Point, north side of Pepperdine.
Oh, nice.
Right on the surf point, just looking out the window here, we can lay in bed and watch surfers in the morning if we're laying here. Or it's 100 yards out is the surf, so feel pretty blessed here.
Yeah, whenever I go there, I feel like I can see a lot of dolphins jumping around sometimes. It's a
Dolphins and seals, and yeah, it's pretty cool. We woke up to an owl the other morning hooting away, and yeah, it's beautiful here.
And are you into surfing?
Stand-up paddle surfing. I picked it up about 10 years ago. Dove in with everything I had and hit three different surf camps. My wife and I went down to Fiji a couple times
Wow.
with some amazing coaches, and it's just heavy, concentrated of surfing all day long with the coach right in the wave with you. And I went to another one down in Mexico by myself, and so when you do it that concentrated, you've got to pick it up. And so yeah, I'm okay, and it's been a flat summer, and
Hmm.
I'm pretty good. I'm always looking for anywhere from 6 to 10 foot, and
Okay.
that's about my limit. But I just love it. How about you? Are you a surfer? Did you say?
No, I wish. I never got into it. I like paddleboarding, swimming out. I'm good at laying out on the beach. I'm really good at
Yeah. It's
that.
just that once you learn, boy, it's just we got to surf. We got a swell coming in this weekend. It's like
Okay.
4 to 6. And it's just man, it's just you go out there and it's just you feel so good. Mother Nature just lifts you up, or if you bring a bad attitude out there, she'll beat you down.
She'll humble you.
I've got a whole chapter on surfing and how I grew into it and the things it's done for me. It broke my wife's arm last year, so it can be pretty brutal too,
Yeah.
and you've got to respect it. But we both just love it and can't wait for this weekend.
Well, let's get into the book, Aggressively Human. And it looks like the best spot to buy it is writeauthor.com, right?
Yes, it is. And if you do that or come to me directly with a DM, I'll give you 20% off the list
Oh,
price
awesome.
and
Yeah.
sign it and, put your name on there and, write a little something to you. But yeah, I really had a lot of fun writing is the most enjoyable part. Marketing and selling it is a beast. And
Yeah.
so I really appreciate the opportunity to, open the doors up to see if I can sell a few more.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. I'm going up to Iowa up to my college at the end of the month to homecoming, and I'm going to speak to the team, and I've
Mm,
got a few signing sessions there, and then at a couple of Barnes and Nobles in Des Moines, and
nice.
I went to the University of Northern Iowa. But yeah, it's been a great experience playing with this, and it feels so good just getting it all out. We've all got a story, and it was really enjoyable to take my time and write it and rewrite it, and get the thing down to where I'm super happy with it. I also did the Audible. I read the Audible.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was a great experience, but kind of one and done there. And I am kind of starting to play with another one, but we'll see what happens with that, and I'll get back to you if it comes to fruition.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I thought was really special too is your wife Lizzie. She's an author, and you guys kind of teamed up and did it together, maybe.
Yeah, and that made it so much more fun. I had been thinking about it years before we ever got married, but going to a ghostwriter and just knew that I was going to need more time. And so, yeah, Lizzie and I just one night we just said, "Hey, let's start writing this thing." And so every night we climb into bed about 7 o'clock, and I'd read to her, and she'd laugh at it or say, "Oh my God, that was good." And
Mm,
so she was actually the glue that pulled it all together and really made it into something enjoyable to read. I've got all the funny stories, but yeah, and then the writing bug really bit her, and she banged out one of my old teammates, Marinovich. She wrote his story with him, meeting with him on the phone and Zooms and everything for the last year
nice.
and a half, and that's going to be coming out in August.
Okay.
And then she worked at NSA back in her workday in DC, and writing a trilogy now, or just finished the first book, and landed a great agent to help her with that process. But yeah, she's got a new profession, and it's great watching her just grow in her writing.
Yeah,
She's
that's
loving it, and it's fun watching her, and so it's kind of incentivized me to try something else as well.
And I was wondering too. I'm excited to read the book. I haven't started it yet, but is it kind of about finding yourself or maybe your purpose a little bit?
It's just some things that worked for me. I wanted to really make sure that it wasn't a you should kind of book, but what worked for me is plowing through open doors. If something touched my heart, my gut, that this is something that's sounds good, I kept my head out of it. I kind of learned that early on. If it feels good, just charge. If you run into a wall and fall down, get up and go another direction. But yeah, it's just what I really try to tell young people is if there's an opportunity, charge it. That's how I landed on Survivor. That's what really launched my business, my mist cooling business. That I was the first one to bring these misting fans onto the NFL sidelines. My coach Art Shell thought I was nuts when I was proposing this to him, and we finally did it, and it kind of just exploded from there. And I was doing a little bit in the off season the last couple of years in the league, and then when the team moved up to Oakland, I incorporated my company, and next thing I know, I'm cool in the '96 Summer Olympics,
Yeah.
and I've got them on aircraft carriers and at NASA, and
Wow.
a whole line of like 40 different products and Home Depots and 1,500 stores and Costco's, and it just turned into a crazy business. But I needed a product, and it's just the same thing with, should we do a book? Yeah, let's do it, and just not even really get your head, well, how am I going to do this? What am I going to who's gonna write it? Who's gonna help us with it? And where am I gonna sell it? And just trying to figure all that out. Just get it. Just start, and then doors start opening.
Awesome.
So yeah, that and treating people kind was a big part of it. It was a great story in there of just how I was just being myself, but being cool to a shoe salesman in the Raiders locker room one week, and he was the first rep for a brand new shoe line, and couldn't get anybody to wear his shoe. And I was watching everybody, and everybody's kind of pushing him and getting him out of the way because they already had their Converse or Adidas or
Mm,
Puma contract. And I said, dude, a shoe's a shoe. Give me your shoe. I'll wear it. He went back to his company, and he was a hero. It turned out that he got a shoe in an NFL game. Well, lo and behold, good things happen when you treat people kind. So I retire and probably actually about 4 years later, I'm in Atlanta trying to get the contract to cool the Summer Olympics. He's the main guy. He's
Wow.
sitting up there and he's making all the decisions. And I'm in there going against Raytheon and GE and all these huge air conditioning companies. I come back to Marina Del Rey and I get a call a couple weeks later and said, "Hey, congratulations." He goes, "You probably don't remember me, but I was the guy that you treated really cool in the locker room 5 years ago." And I just get moved every time I think of that story. And so the world's a small place, man. Just treat everybody kind. It's just you can either be a jerk, a dick, or a cool, and either way, it's going to come back to you. And so just treating people right. There's quite a few stories about that in there. Yeah, just working with mentors and finding good mentors that you admire. If it's in the weight room, seeing somebody and how they're working out, or how they're kind to people, or they're jerks and they're prejudiced or something. You see the different sides of this. And I didn't really realize as I started writing this that I started discovering good mentors and bad mentors. I don't even know if that is something, but bad examples of humans when I was just a kid, being around my folks and seeing how people treated me when they were around. And then when they weren't around, they'd brush me aside. And so it's just a lot of life lessons that I just try to pass on and share to lift. And it's just a fun, enjoyable story of crazy, you know, locker room things, pre-game, on flights, fights. How we dismembering one of our teammates in practice and actually just knocking him out cold before he ever hit the ground. How he laughed. He still laughs at those stories. And yeah, just what it took to make the Dallas Cowboys as a free agent. Staying in the present is one of my really big messages I try to push. I had 5 other roommates my rookie year, and these guys were always looking at the game coming up, or the week-long scrimmage with the
Mm,
49ers. And I was just like, I knew I was going to be cut the next day. So I'm just going to focus on tomorrow morning.
mm.
I'm not even going to focus on tomorrow afternoon. We had two-hour practices a day. So I was just focused on tomorrow morning. And it just, all of a sudden, I'm still around. So now I'm just thinking about tomorrow afternoon. And it just, keeping that short mindfulness, staying present. I became a Buddhist probably 15 years ago. And a lot of that is really the mindfulness of staying present and karma and treating people right. So that's the long version.
No, it's great stuff, and it made me wonder too when you have so many different ex teammates and people you've been around. It's probably cool now to say you have your book, right? Because everyone starts coming out with their book at a certain time in life, right?
Yeah, they do. And a lot of people, think about doing it and they talk about
Mm,
doing it, but they don't do it. And I just encourage everybody, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a writer. I wasn't taking English in college or anything, but just start. But it sure helps to have an amazing partner,
mm.
a close one like your wife that is a writer, because it takes a lot of effort and, the editing process. And so right now I'm doing my what's called the vomit draft. Just get it out, and then it's just a plop of clay there. Now you start working with it and getting rid of things and adding more to it and shaping it. And so that's an awesome process. I just in the book we talk about how we're minimalists, and so we're always creating different things to do. I got a patent on a product, and we got rid of our TV probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. So the only games I watch are on my phone. I'm watching Red Zone or
Yeah.
something, but I don't really watch a whole lot of football anymore. Go up to the Raiders, up to Las Vegas, and see some games or something. But yeah, just staying home and being creative.
Nice. Well, it did make me wonder growing up. I know you're from, sounds like you were born in St. Louis and grew up in Minnesota.
Yes,
So,
sir.
yeah, were you like a big family of athletes, or were you kind of the standout in the family?
I
Or
was I was I was the only one in the family. I got an older sister and a younger brother, and my brother's probably 10 years behind me, and
mm,
so it was just my dad and I. My dad would get home from work, and I'm in punt, pass, and kick, and so he'd go, let's go out and practice, and then I was kind of hitting, and I talk about it in my book. I was kind of hitting it at the right time. I'm in junior high school. And then as I'm becoming a senior, Rocky comes out, and it's just punching and lifting and eating eggs. And it was just like fuel on this fire, this, young kid full of testosterone. And now you're getting this guidance. And then Pumping Iron came out. And I was like, oh man, this is awesome. I just could not work out hard enough. And that helped me going into college. And then when the Cowboys found me, the first thing they said, hey, you need to get bigger, stronger, faster. And that's what they said in college too. When I signed my full scholarship, we just need you to get a little bigger, stronger, faster. So my whole life has been getting bigger, stronger, faster. So I got up to like 300 pounds when I was
Wow.
with the Raiders, and benching 500 pounds, and then actually very tired of actually going to bed at training camp with pizzas. I'd lay on my back and I'd have a pizza on my stomach and just eat it and shove the box off on the floor. And so once I got through with my career, it was just so great to start losing weight again and getting down and eating healthier and not choking down a pepperoni pizza. You know, it's so bad for your health. But so we're both, thankful my wife is really on this too. We just kind of laugh every time we open our refrigerator. It is the most healthiest place the refrigerator I've ever looked in. And so there's no snacks around, there's no sugary stuff.
Mm.
And my taste buds have completely changed. We do the time box eating. We eat pretty much from 6 o'clock in the morning to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
Mm.
then we're done. That's why it's kind of nice to get out in the morning then on an empty stomach, basically fasted and
Yeah.
do some running, and you just burn through fat a lot, actually like 40% faster.
Mm. What do you weigh right now? I was curious.
I'm 245 and 15% body fat.
Nice.
So not too bad for a 65-year-old guy. I just got a new knee in January. I'm gonna get a new shoulder in this next month in November.
Okay.
So it's the 65-year tune-up, I think, for me. And everything else is holding together. The head's hanging together, and they're really putting out a lot for us, especially the Raiders,
Mm.
bringing us up. They just had a wellness weekend for us before the
Okay.
season started. They flew in a couple hundred of us, and it's just head to toe neurological testing to all your internals and
Wow.
joints and everything else. They're awesome like that, like no team I've ever seen.
Well, that's great. I'm gonna wish you some good luck with the new shoulder because I've had three labral repairs myself. So
Have you?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's a journey, isn't it? Just
yeah.
the rehab, doing that the right way. I'm getting pretty good at the rehab, and that's a little bit about what my next book is
Okay.
about. It's overall health, and I'm not an expert, but I'm 50 years a student.
And that's why you
Just
said stay
learn
in the
from the
moment.
best. Pardon me? Yeah, stay in the
Yeah.
moment, and it's just I've learned. I've been fortunate to be with amazing weight trainers from the different teams I've been on, from the Cowboys to the
Mm.
Colts and the Raiders. I had a doctor of physiology when I was with the Cowboys back in the early
Wow.
'80s, and they were doing hand-to-hand combat. We were working with Bruce Lee's partner. I've just been around a lot of great trainers, and so I just want to I have a lot of people coming to me because as I get older, it's funny. People are saying, hey, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? Or I had my knee surgery and I just came back faster than anybody had ever seen. But the doctor was Christopher Jones with the Lakers.
Mm.
And he'd never seen a shoulder come back so fast. He did my other shoulder about 2 years ago. And there's a lot to it, getting ready for surgery and
Yeah.
going through it, and then the rehab and pushing it hard enough. You want to feel a little pain, no gain kind of thing, but not too hard. And
Yeah.
the whole myth of using ice on things is just a bygone time.
Mm.
It's heat, or
Yep.
at least warmth. So I got a lot in here. I just want to dump out and see if there's anything to it.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I thought was interesting that you brought up was the Mister business, Cloudburst, and I was wondering, was that just kind of like, were you inspired like on the sideline one day, like, man, this sucks, it's hot out
No,
here.
it's a great story, and it's just another thing of just keeping your eyes open. I didn't invent anything, but I was over in Palm Springs, sitting at a Mexican restaurant about 2 months before training camp, and a couple of margaritas, and the mist is blowing, and we're staying cool, and I'm just going, wow, how about on our sidelines? This would be awesome. brought it back to Art Shell. He said it was nuts. Finally let me do it. And it was just a huge success. Everybody was loving it. Nobody had ever seen this before. And then so went from there to the Dodgers and Angels and
Mm.
then to Hollywood Park, where SoFi Stadium is now. Just all the stables there was cooling those off, and then it settles all the dust in the air and repels the flying insects, and
Mm.
kind of just started to go crazy. And so when the team looked at moving in '94 back up to Oakland, I incorporated my company Cloudburst. It's still running today. I sold out to my
Mm.
partner who's got it here in Simi Valley, and we just you know mentors. Speaking of mentors, like I said earlier, I just befriended a guy who was the president of the West Coast for Home Depot, and
Wow.
he showed me how to make a good, better, best product. You got to have that if you're going to come into Home Depot. So made like 40 different SKUs, and yeah, it just turned into a crazy business. Our motto was good news is we got the job, bad news is we got the job. And when you're in sales, you always say yes. And so, hey, okay, we're going to give you the Olympics. Okay, sure. Have no idea how we're going to do it,
Yeah.
how we're going to pull this off, but we're just in way over our heads. But figure it out. And there's always a way to figure it out if you want it bad enough. And we just excelled, and lots of accolades from that led to a lot of other opportunities. And so, yeah,
Nice. And one thing I thought was interesting about you too is you played for the Raiders, but you never played for the Oakland Raiders, but you played for the Oakland Invaders. So I thought that was
yeah,
kind of interesting. You still got to Oakland.
yeah, I did. Yeah, I was trying to finish up. I was finishing up my 4-year contract with the Colts. Went with them into Baltimore, and then came with them to Indianapolis. We were just back there this last year for their 40th reunion, and
Mm.
oh Lord, time has flown. But yeah, then so the Colts at the time, the Ursays were just not paying very
Mm.
much, and so the USFL was humming and threw a bucket of money at me, and I jumped on it and ended up in Oakland. And just my luck, we make it to the championship game, and the league folds. And our head coach Charlie Sumner had been the defensive coordinator down with the LA Raiders for the previous 10 years, and brought myself and Anthony Carter and a couple other players down, and able to stick around there for the next 7 years. It was just heaven. I think how I could have ended up in Cleveland or something else. Not to knock Cleveland, but no place like landing in Los Angeles for a
Yeah.
for a kid is having fun, and it just grew up just emulating Dave Casper and
Mm.
some of these other great Raiders. And it was cool up there in Oakland, but I was glad I just stayed up there for 1 year,
Yeah.
and Los Angeles, and I haven't left. I got here in '87 and still here.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Rocky earlier because I was thinking, man, playing in LA in the 80s, it made me think of that scene where they're all oiled up running on the beach.
Yeah, yeah,
So, did you
yeah,
have any fun like run-ins with Hollywood types being Raider fans and stuff back then?
yeah. Just on the sidelines and everything else. But yeah, it's running in the sand. I've figured out that just conservatively, I've ran over 10,000 miles in the soft sand.
Wow.
And that's really helped my knees, just the cushion. And
Hmm.
you feel it in your muscles, you don't feel it in your joints. And then the water's right there, so you go for a run, jump in the water. But yeah, there's every place you turn, especially up here in Malibu. It's just ridiculous. All the movie stars and athletes,
Yeah.
and Jay-Z, and you just see these obscenely large Rolls Royces driving around with everything tinted. Somebody's in there.
You never know who's at Nobu.
Don't even try to get in there. Look at you, Nobu. You know you're Nobu. How'd you know Nobu? You've been in there?
Yeah, I usually go like midweek, every now and then, and
Oh wow,
as you
yeah,
know, it's always a who's here, you know.
yeah. Everybody's eating dinner like this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like
Oh,
what?
you know who I saw there actually? Troy Aikman randomly.
Oh, did you?
So that was kind of
You over
cool.
you
Yeah.
went over and said hello, I'm sure.
No,
Did you?
actually, I was solo, and it was actually during COVID when everyone had the masks on, and
Mm,
I could still tell it was him. And then I was like,
yeah,
I'll just let him be. I'll play it cool.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Well, I know in '91, right? You won the Ed Block Courage Award. So
Yes.
Thought that was pretty neat. What does that mean to you? How did that kind of go about? Is it nominated from
Just
teammates?
hit me out of left field. I had torn up my shoulder the year before and came back from that. That's part of it is coming back from major injuries.
Mm.
And the other part of it is just giving your time to different charities. And it's kind of funny. If I had to do over again, I would have really focused on one or two charities. I was saying yes to everything on Saturdays, in the off season. Sometimes I was doing three different charities a day
Wow.
and loved it. You're going to hospitals, you're doing this. I couldn't say no. And then once you get on those lists, everybody's hitting you up. So I just did a ton of charity work. Um, but again, if I had to do over, love to see the meter move on following one, doing something with kids or cancer or something. But I don't think I missed a fundraising opportunity for something or other. It
Wow.
was such a joy to do, and everybody loved having me or athletes there, and so anything you can do to help everybody out, and it was beautiful.
Nice. Well, I am curious. I know the last 2 or 3 years you played in the NFL for the Raiders, you played like all 16 games. So I thought it was interesting. Did you have like a shoulder injury? Did something kind of send you out earlier than you wanted to into retirement, or?
Well, once the team was moving to Oakland, I had had enough.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I was yeah, my shoulders were getting beat up. And to be honest with you, I was just mentally tired of
Mm.
of the game. A lot of guys love like crazy, and we still get together, as often as we can, or texting and everything else. But I was just really over the game. Actually, once I retired and the team moved up to Oakland, I didn't even watch a game for the next probably
Mm.
10, 12 years.
Oh, okay.
Um, Not really watching a whole lot of it now, except for on my phone since we don't have a TV. But it just got tiresome, just doing the same thing. Maybe I just got a wandering mind, but I was ready to move on to something else. It was an awesome time, but I definitely left it all in the field.
Mm.
My shoulders were getting beat up, and I remember just sitting in the corner with Bob Golick and Howie and a few other guys, and we're sitting there. We're all in our whatever 10th, 11th year, and we'd always have music playing in there. But now, everybody's getting tired to even change the music. But so you got these young guys coming in, and they're running the music, and it's like heavy duty rap or something like that. We're us old guys are like, what is this? And we're just like, it's ready to move on in life. It's been good. You know, get out of here while you can, and in the best pieces you can without getting beat up more. Or it was also too, it was great just not getting cut and then trying to scramble around and trying to find. So I got to leave on my own terms,
Mm.
and I had something set up. So
Gotcha.
having something set up was the biggest incentive. When they were deciding, I could have gone up to Oakland and maybe struggled through another year, but I had an opportunity, and I took my opportunity and went to my agent's office, and he gave me a desk, and I was sitting there, and I had a pen and a paper on there. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Figure it out. I need a little marketing. How can you help me? You know, need your mug on this, and so it was an easy transition. I was really fortunate that I had something to move into.
Mm. That's good. Well, it made me wonder too. Did you have any good experiences with Al Davis? With Mister Just Win Baby.
Yeah, he was always great to me. As long as you hustle and bust your tail and give him a few ligaments and a little cartilage and plenty of blood, he's behind you. Um, the way I always used to love to talk about Al is he hates to talk about football. Hates to
Mm.
talk about football. And it looks like what? No, there's talking about football, and there's talking about dominating football.
Mm.
Dominate, dominate, crush, kill, and that's it. And if you came to him with just a little football talk, but he was so focused, but he treated me well. He gave me everything I wanted and more, kept me around, super thankful because I wasn't the best, but I could fill in. I played left tackle, I played center, I played right guard, right tackle, special teams. I was always tight end on short yards and goal line. I get my ass kicked here and there. Everybody does. You learn early on. Mike Ditka was one of my mentors when I was with
Hmm.
the Cowboys. He was
Wow.
my special teams coach. And he said, everybody out here's got the physical tools. This is what's going to separate you. Deal with it. You're going to get your ass kicked before the day's over. What? And so you just learn fast or you're gone. Like they say, you're only as good as your last game or last play. And yeah. So,
Well, I wanted to talk of a couple notable teammates. I've had Tim Brown on the show, and great guy, as you know, and Marcus Allen. It looks like you keep in touch with everyone. I saw some pictures of going to some reunions.
yeah. Yeah. It's just, thank goodness, for the Davises. Mark is just brings us up every year for the reunion. We were just up there, I think, for the first preseason game. Yeah. And it's just like you're all brothers. You
Mm.
just don't miss a beat. You haven't seen each other for a year. We're around each other, and it's just nothing but love and laughing. And everybody is it's just the greatest experience there. I played with the Cowboys for 2 years. I haven't even gotten a call
Hmm.
to do a thing, or the Colts. They did bring me back for the 40th reunion, but and everybody that I talked to, there's no other team that does this. They fly us in, they take care of that, they take care of the hotel, they take care of all the food and drinks, the tickets for the game, and we're not sitting in the stands. We're down in this box section at uh, at the Las Vegas Stadium, and it's just crab legs and steaks and any kind of liquor, margaritas and everything else. It's crazy. And I pinch myself all the time that I can't believe I'm a part of this, and I'm just
Hmm.
so thankful. But yeah, Marcus is just one of the best. It's kind of sounds silly that you die for each other, and that's where we were in the field and so close now. And yeah, it's a beautiful time.
Well, it made me think we're talking about him, and he's probably on the golf course right now as we speak.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
a big golfer. I feel like he every time I see like a celebrity golf tournament somewhere,
yeah,
he's usually there doing it. So he's
yeah.
always
Tim
twinking
Brown
it.
and yeah, Tim
Yeah.
Brown and a lot of them are. I threw all my clubs away. I didn't throw them away. I gave them to like charity or something or you know, Goodwill or something. But it just took too long to be out there for me, to be out there 5 hours for a round or something. And then I was playing, I had been invited 6 years, 7 years in a row to the Long Beach Grand Prix Pro
Mm.
Celebrity Tournament before the race. And there was a lot of celebrities down there. And so about the seventh year I'm down there, they want me to tee off, get the big guy up there. I'm weighing 300 pounds and whack away on the as soon as the horn went off, I just took up my one on one wood and cranked it down, and it started veering right and was still climbing and went into these bushes, and all you heard was up, and it didn't sound like it hit a bush, but I yelled four as loud as I could, and then I look over, I ran over to the fairway and see this somebody laying down and all these people around him, and I just go, oh my god, what have I done?
Yeah.
And I run up there and they roll him over. And as they're rolling him over, there's blood on the towel. And the guy rolls over and he's actually a unicorn. He's got a horn on his head that's sticking out like this. And they tried to take him in to go to the hospital. And he said, no way. He put his baseball hat back on and it's sitting on top of this horn that's sticking out his head. I never got invited back. And that was part of the reason I just got rid of my clubs. I'm living on the beach and I'm going to spend 5 hours on the golf course. It was a good bonding time, but I was over golf
Yeah.
and I haven't missed it and haven't played since.
Sounds like an ex-football player. Then he sounded tough.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't believe he kept playing and yeah, I thought for sure he was going to sue me or something. I
Yeah.
was just okay, no joking around. I think I gave the guy some tickets or something for the next home game or something. But I
Okay.
made it out of there safe and didn't
Yeah.
hurt anybody else and tossed my clubs and never looked back.
Well, I wanted to get a little bit into Survivor. That's one of my favorite shows growing up, and I thought it was interesting thinking like you're obviously an ex-athlete, you're used to being a good teammate, and Survivor's a teammate environment show, but it's also you're all about yourself at the end of the day. So was it kind of hard to balance that when you're used to just being a good teammate through and through?
For me, no, it wasn't because I had bumped into the casting director when I was down at Fox Studio. I go down there once or twice a year to see Howie and the boys,
Mm.
and Jimmy Johnson had been on the show the year before, Coach Jimmy Johnson. And so the casting director's in there and they just said, "Hey, you want to give this a shot?" Went down to the finals and landed in Nicaragua. And you got your team. And I wasn't conniving or wasn't really know much about the game, but enjoyed the process and glad they got it on film because no one would have ever believed I would have. I lost 31 pounds and I lost 32 pounds in 31 days.
Wow, pound a
Um,
day.
just taking a chunk off of a termite nest and sticking a stick in there and then wrapping your lips around, just like a gorilla or something. But the teammate thing, I'm still friends to this day with a couple of them. A firewoman from Venice and another buddy, Giselle. It was a great experience. They called and asked if I wanted to come back
Mm.
about 3 years later and said not a chance because when I got home back to LA, as soon as I was landing, my teeth were bugging me and they were sore and my mouth was not something was not right. So I went and saw the dentist. He took an x-ray and said he's never seen so much bacteria in his
Mm.
life. And he goes, "We're going to pull your front tooth right now." Wait a minute, what do you mean you're going to pull my front tooth? Pulled that front tooth out and it just smelled like crazy. It was just, you're so filthy down there on the set,
Yeah.
down in the, it's not really a set, in the jungle. This is your toothbrush. This is your toilet paper. This is everything. What you see on that show is 100% real.
Okay.
There's not getting anything on the side. You're starving. You're sleeping out in the elements. Rained on us every single night. So you really don't sleep at night. You just take cat naps during the day. Um, it was a great experience, but one that I never wanted again. It's just another thing of just saying yes.
Mm.
Like I talked about earlier, you get an opportunity, say yes. I could have always, canceled over the next couple of months before I took off, but it's just say yes to every opportunity you can. Life, you're on this ride once,
Yeah.
do it, and never want to end my life like coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Mm.
Go,
Yeah.
go hard.
Don't leave a door not opened, because then you'll never know.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah.
I think.
Like I could have told them that, hey, let me think about it and I'll call you tomorrow. They won't answer the phone.
Mm.
I'm so
Yeah.
glad I did.
Well, is it easy to go crazy out there too when you have so much free time and you're kind of no distractions?
I think so. I got into one of my tribe mates, actually the other tribe mates, taught me about meditation. And so I just ended up meditating a ton. And you sit around fire all night and just chatting and talking. And I didn't lose my mind. It was just we'd go out hunting for food. There was always something to do. You didn't have a whole lot of strength. You didn't mind just falling down in the shade and the sand and sleeping and till the ants woke you up crawling in your face. And but no, it was an awesome experience. So if you ever get a chance, go for it.
All
It's
right.
I haven't watched the show since then, but I heard it sounds like it's changing and it's a little bit shorter now or
Yeah,
something.
they're tinkering with the rules and stuff, and
Is
there's
there?
it's kind of hard to keep track now because they pump them out so often now. It's like it's almost too often.
Oh,
I
is that
like
right? Because they used to do two a year.
Yeah, I think they've done like three, and they've done more. Like I think during the COVID times too, they were kind of able to pump more out. So,
I
um,
can't believe Jeff Probst is still doing it, isn't
and he still looks the same. Like,
he? He does.
yeah,
He does. The man that doesn't age.
yeah.
Uh,
Is he in your
pretty-
area? Like, do you see him around or?
no, I haven't. I have not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like he'd be out there running on the beach or something.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, you got to get Howie Long on there. He's like the guy that doesn't age, right?
He doesn't. No, he's really doing well, and it was he just he doesn't come to all of the reunions. He was at this last one. Marcus called up everybody. It just worked everybody to come to this last reunion, and it paid off.
Nice.
When Marcus asks you to do something, everybody comes. And Howie was there, and yeah, he's looking in great shape. He's been through a lot of surgeries, his
Mm.
neck and his back, and
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was great seeing him there. We stay in touch a little bit. He, gave my book a nice review. Great guy, great guy. He was an animal to play with, though. He was my practice partner every day.
Oh,
He
okay.
he
Wow.
and Greg Townsend. But yeah, Howie, you just learned to take it right to the edge. And this center, Bill Lewis, who played for us, take it a little far. And that's a whole other story, but it's all in my book.
Okay. Well, you're heading up to Iowa, like you said, University of Northern Iowa, and
Yep.
you're not just someone who went there; you're a Hall of Famer. So it's got to be fun to return.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be fun talking to the guys too, and try to bring some message to them, and just see a lot of my old teammates. We've all, my different Facebook groups, and one of them's Northern Iowa, and all of us, the old football players I haven't seen or talked to or really thought about since I left there. Yeah, they're all, looking forward to me coming back and just kind of hanging together. We get a book signing that night. I'm doing that with an All-American wrestler, guy named
Mm,
Jim Miller, and being there just for 3 nights, I think, and
okay.
then back out. And that'll probably be my last trip to Iowa ever.
I'm with you on that one.
Been
Well,
there, done that kind of thing.
yeah. Oh, one thing I was going to ask you really quick in the Survivor section. Last question on that.
Yes,
I imagine you're probably out and about, and maybe in an airport. Do people still come up to you and remember you from the show?
it is such a good question. It is so funny. I played 11 years grinding away in the NFL. And I don't care what group or anything I talk to, or someone's going to come. I see some kid or young person running up to me. I'm thinking, oh, they want an autograph from, played for football, played football. They just want to know about Survivor. I was on Survivor for a short time, and that's all they want to know about. It's pretty hilarious. Yeah, it's such a cult following.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I had a guy actually chase me down. What's that? TMZ.
Oh
TMZ.
yeah.
TMZ chased me down in LAX. My wife got a good kick out of that, and it had nothing to do with football. Just wanted to know about Survivor. I was like, oh man.
Well, you're not too far away from it now. People can see you on the beach, doing your thing, and it looks like you're on the show again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, Steve, I'm going to put a link in the bio on how we can pick up the book, and
Okay.
whenever you
Thank
come out
you.
with the next one, let me know, and we'd love to have you back on the show. It was fun getting to know
Thank
you.
you. Ryan, appreciate it, brother. It was really
Yeah.
enjoyable. I had a good time. Thank you.
See you at Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, sweet. I look forward to it, man.